Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show, ladies and gentlemen. Don't touch that remote. We got a great show here. It's one of the most important shows. I've been doing this show for 27 years, and I feel that this type of show is helping people. You know, years ago, when I lived on Chestnut Street, Green Street, Lafayette Street, had the doctors would come into the house. You know, there'd be home visits. No more. You have to go to the hospital. And we got great hospitals in this area, Einstein, Suburban, whatever. But our show today is about cancer. You know, it seems like people talk about it. It says, you know, it seems like my uncle, my aunt, had cancer. We have more cancer in this area of Pennsylvania, I think, than any place in the United States. So we should be concerned. If you're within this, if you're in the area of Comcast and Verizon where this show covers, then you should be listening, because I got one of the top doctors in the area that has nothing to do but taking care of cancer programs. And this program is about a fundraiser. You know, we're going to do a fundraiser. You're going to do something to get people in health. When you walk, they tell you to walk, get your health. We got guys now that want to run. So, without further ado, we're going to talk about the walk, okay? And my guest today is Dr. Bierman from Einstein Hospital. Doctor, tell me all about it now. What do we got here? Save this date, okay?
Thanks, Hank. This is the Walk in the Park, and I've been associated with this since it started 13 years ago.
Right. Go ahead.
So we basically, this started out as a relatively small event. It gets bigger and bigger every year.
We were going to have a spaghetti supper for, you know.
I think you're right.
We're going to have it one of these days.
I think you're right. But, you know, it's gotten to the point now where we're getting people not only wanting to walk, we've got people wanting to run. So we have a run that 5K run that starts before the walk, and then we have a 2.5 mile
wait
walk.
a minute. Now, explain that now. All right, what's the time on that? In other words, the first, what is, go ahead.
We're on May 21st.
It's on a
and
Saturday.
It's going to be right here, starting off at the
Northtown High School.
And we're going to be running through or walking through the farm park across the street, which is a lovely place.
And we're going to have the West Norton police officers will be helped as far as crossing Whitehall Road. So we got everybody's cooperating. Go ahead.
So basically, we're going to have a 2K run, or 5K run that starts the show off. And then about half hour after that, then we're going to have a 2.5 mile walk through the park, which is a wonderful thing. Kids are invited. They're going to have stuff for the kids to do before and after, but it's great for a family
Well,
thing.
registration and all.
Yeah.
They have a little bit of entertainment and so.
Yeah, so then afterwards, when we're all done, there's some prizes and things like that. So it's a very pleasant afternoon for everybody.
I have a big bell. I have a fire bell.
That's
we
right.
get it started.
Yep.
So, all right. Now, tell me something about now. I have my heart and soul is with this type of thing because I had colon cancer, prostate cancer, and I still have cancer there where they give me a shot every 4 months. I forget what they call it, you know, some kind of shot to keep it so it don't, you know, one of these days I'll just go over, you know. But in the meantime, I think it's so important, you know, because it's something that it affects the family when someone has it. Well, thank God it's not contagious, right?
Right.
So tell me now, when I first started, my first diagnosed for colon cancer and then prostate cancer, they said that the machine they had at the old Montgomery Hospital, it would zero in, but sometime it would damage the outer part. So now this new machine that they come in, it zeroes right in where the cancer is. Now, tell me something about that type of treatment.
That's part of the radiation treatment. So, you know, basically, they've been looking at a better way to aim that beam for years to try not to hurt normal tissue and to kill the cancer. So I think what's happened is with all the great computer technology we have now, they're able to hone things in closer and closer and closer. They can even, for instance, a little lung tumor. That maybe somebody's got a bad heart, bad lungs, they can't have surgery. They can pinpoint that with just a few treatments and zap just that spot and not hurt the rest of the lung
Yeah.
tissue. It's a great thing. They're able to aim it much better, but it's thanks to all these great computers and engineers
Yeah.
that we've got better tools to do that.
We have to talk about the advancement. I think I'm Exhibit A. I had 2 hip replacements, right?
Sure.
The first one was like I I'm in the hospital for a week. I had a lot of pain. You know, the convalescing was a little bit longer. 8 years later, the other one went on the bum. And that one, I was in the hospital 3 days. I had no pain, and the convalescing was faster. So, that just 8 years later. Okay, so when I got prostate cancer and colon cancer, there's been advances since, 10, 15 years ago,
Sure.
right?
Sure. Well, I think, Hank, the biggest new things are 2 things that we've come up with. One is that we know when cancer cells grow, they make mistakes in their genes. They're messed up cells. So one of the things has been finding out ways to determine what's wrong with those cells and then come up with medicines that take advantage of that weakness in the cell.
Build it up.
So that's a big thing they call personalized medicine now. So there's things they do with the tissue they take out. There's things they do with blood tests, and they can find out, oh, you've got this thing, and there's 20 other cancers. They may not start in the same place, like it. Oh, we're going to give you a pill to attack that. The other thing that's been a big breakthrough recently has been all over the news is that they come to realize for years, back when I was in training, back in the late 70s, we kept talking about immune therapy. We were going to do great with immune therapy. Well, we kind of didn't figure it out very good. What we were doing is we were trying to put the gas down on the immune system, make it work real hard.
Yeah.
Problem was the gas pedal was down to the floor. Pedal was to the metal, but we were standing on a brake. And we didn't know how to take our foot off the brake. So there's a whole bunch of new medicines now that take the foot off the brake of the immune system and are killing cancers.
Right.
Some cancers like melanoma, where years ago, if you had it spread, you were in big trouble. Now they're having people cured of that with these immune therapies. So we're really coming a long way. I think the other thing that's been a big deal, and you kind of hinted about it early, is that when we used to think about cancer, and I have to say, I've been doing this for 30 some odd years, probably more than I want to admit.
Wow.
But when we started out, everything was about attacking the cancer. And it took us a while to realize, hey, wait a minute, it's not the cancer, it's the person with cancer. And that's not the person with cancer, it's the person with cancer and their family and all the people who take care of them. So now we're thinking more in a broad idea, and that's part of the program that I really like seeing that we've developed is we have nurses who help you figure out what appointments to get to, people who do support, sit down, talk with you. We're bringing in a financial counselor, so when the insurance folks say, we don't pay for this and your pocket's starting to get hurt, there's somebody to help you out with that, as well as the treatments.
That's what part of your treatment is, having people there guiding you.
Right, and that's part of what we are about. We're not just about putting a new medicine into you, putting you on the radiation table, taking you to surgery, but taking care of more of you than that.
Yeah.
And that's part of what programs like this, these fundraisers help us to say, hey, nobody wants to pay for the person to sit there and help you with your finances and things like that.
Well,
but that's the stuff this helps with.
Right. I think with the advance, when we talk about advance, and I'm Exhibit A. I had a 95% blockage heart, and all my friends had heart operations. They had the zipper club.
Mm-hmm.
So they operated. Dr. Anderson, Einstein, right? So after the operation, I'm there laying there like this, So I'm going to look down and see the zipper club, I look, nothing there. A little bit of a cut over here, and he used a machine, boop, 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 sewing it. So as he was wheeling me into the operating room, I said to him, Dr. Anderson, can you film that operation? I'll put it on my show. And he did,
Great.
Okay? So I have it, I was watching. I think I didn't want to watch it, but I'd watch it. He's looking in the machine, he goes boop, 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 So all these advances, and when somebody has cancer, mental too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you got to work on the mind too.
Yeah, if people are already defeated before they start, they don't do very well with treatment. So
No.
we have people to help us with having people get a positive attitude about things.
Oh, well, I remember when I had the first time colon cancer, and they had to get this, what is the thing where they give you the treatment, what do they call it, the medicine,
The chemotherapy?
chemo, right. So in the room they had, the lady was across from me, and she was like pale, and she was eating ice, Madonna. She looked like mezzanotte in Italian, you know, she's looking. And here I'm sitting here for 45 minutes looking like this, and just looking at her, and I'm getting that chemo. And I got very depressed watching her, feeling so sorry for her. So every time I got finished, I was home, I was like, yeah. I told the doctor, please, give me another day. And I did. Next thing you know, after I went home, I was all right. So finally, everything was all right. A week later, she comes back at the same time. And so she's going like this. She had always kept her head down. All of a sudden, she looked her head up like this here, and she says, "You're Sergeant Cisco, aren't you?" I says, "Yeah." She says, "My father was a policeman." I said, "No kidding." I felt so good, talking to her, you know. So it is mental.
Yeah.
You're getting that stuff. So you got, you lose a fight in the dressing room. You got to,
I think, too, when we built the cancer center, we made sure there's plenty of room for people to move about when they're getting their chemo, but not so much room that they couldn't talk to each other. And the people start talking to each other, they start helping each other out.
Right.
And it's an important part of what we do.
Yeah, that's part of it. You're right. You're right. And I remember even the hip replacement. After I was all in a room all by myself. I'm standing there. Next thing, 8 years later, when I get the second time, I had some people there were talking. Hey, how you doing? What are you having? Spaghetti, meatballs, whatever. Right?
Yep, absolutely.
So, what are we talking about?
We're talking about the walk in the park to raise
Are you
funds.
going to walk?
I'm going to walk. My wife's going to walk. There's going to be a bunch of other people there. Our whole group's
Yeah,
going
but
to be
no, let me tell you, you're going to have some dogs there too.
there. Absolutely.
People bring the dogs. You're nothing but a hound dog. Maybe we'll get Elvis Presley there and sing a little bit there. Hey, here's the chief of police just come in here from, what is it? I always got that, what is it? Huh? That's it. What do you say?
They're different.
Tradifin Township. I can never say that. I don't know where they get that name. Some Indian name. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, but he's going to be my guest in a while.
Okay.
Great guy. His father was a sergeant at Lower Merion. Great guy. Now, and what else we got? We got baby coaches too.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
Well, we want this to be a family thing. We don't
Right.
want this just to be a bunch of people coming out to
Right.
walk and just people running. We want this to be a family thing. So people do bring baby carriages. They
Right.
have their kids, their toddlers coming along with them. Like you said, they have the dogs. It's a family event.
Right.
It's not just a
Right.
fundraiser by itself. It's a fundraiser that has fun involved in it.
Right. Now, we're going to meet in front of Norristown High School.
Right.
Right. And then you're going to have some toys and, not toys, but games for children.
They'll have things for
Keep
kids
them
to do.
occupied.
Exactly.
All right. And then they'll be escorted, police escort across up Whitehall. And then we get over to the farm park, to the pavilion.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get there, there's going to be donuts. There's going to be orange juice. And that's, I think, ShopRite is donating. Is that right?
I think so.
Tell
yeah.
me something about how long you been doing this?
Well, I've been doing oncology for over 36 years now. But as far as the walk in the park, we started 13 years ago, and I was there for the first one.
Yeah, I was there too. I told you
Yeah.
earlier when this lady came to me and says we're going to have a fundraiser for that. I said, okay, what are you going to have a fundraiser? Good. What are you going to have? Let's have a spaghetti supper. So I think Stan Husky, the Times Herald editor, is no, let's do it the walk, but we're going to have a spaghetti supper. Okay.
All right, sounds like a deal.
So tell me something about the staff at the hospital.
So, the staff at our particular center, we have the radiation staff, we have the oncology staff, which is the chemotherapy staff. So basically, we have a whole group of nurses who do only chemotherapy. We have a nurse practitioner who helps us take care of some of the patient's symptoms and things like that. We have 2 nurse navigators that do nothing but help patients get through problems, get from appointments to appointments, make sure there's something's missing that they need to get done, that they're
Right.
not worried about, oh my God, how do I get here and there? They help them take care of that. And they also help them with things like their well-being and questions they have about,
Right,
gee,
right.
I'm worried about my family, I'm worried about this. And on top of that, we have our regular staff that does all the crazy insurance stuff and all the other things that makes
well,
everything
good,
work.
Right, right. Well, Dr. Grafey, remember? She used to
Yeah.
be, and she was at the Montgomery Hospital and all, and I had her on the show, and she mentioned, now I don't know, what hold us to it, but she says there's more people have cancer in the southeastern part of Pennsylvania than any place in the United States.
No, it's certainly a large group. I don't know whether it's the peak.
Well, she said
but-
that. I don't know. No, I don't want to spread it anymore. But then when I come to think of it, number one, Ambler, we had that asbestos
Right.
place. I remember when we went over there, we were playing in the stuff, that asbestos, And in the lake area, people were fishing. We had asbestos all over Norristown. In fact, when they knocked Montgomery Hospital down, they spent, I think, 3 or 4 weeks getting the asbestos out. So if they had asbestos in the hospital, you go over there to get cured, you wind up with, you think?
Well, it certainly wasn't good for you. It was good
And
at
these
the
old-
time, but not.
And the
after.
schools all had
Yep.
asbestos piping too. So maybe they ought to start looking. Now, I had Dr. Holton was the superintendent of schools. He says that they did a study in the Eisenhower High School one time and did some in reference to lead and asbestos, and they only did the job halfway, So I don't know, maybe somebody ought to start looking and see if there's, it's just asbestos in the schools and the old churches and the old buildings, right?
Yep. Well, I think one other thing too, Hank, that's been a big deal as far as cutting back on cancer has been a lot of people getting folks to stop smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's relatively new thing across the country is the idea of, like, women get mammograms. Now instead, if you are a heavy smoker,
Yeah.
you get a low-dose CAT scan. It takes you like 5 seconds to get the picture. And they're figuring that it would take 300 scans to find one cancer that they can cure somebody of.
Oh.
So it's a big deal, and that's a program we have
Yeah.
that we thought was real important to get started. And before insurance started paying for it, we were doing it for free just to try to get people in and save more lives. So things like that are trying to cut back
Yeah.
these numbers you're talking about.
That causes cancer.
Yep.
Right? I'm a former amateur professional fighter, and I didn't smoke. So what happened? I got a job down in Atlanta, Georgia, and I got a construction job, and guy wanted me to do the jackhammer, and so I put the jackhammer on the side because I was shaking.
Sure.
Finally, he comes over. He says, "Come on, get that thing working." I said, "Well, I'm tired." I said, "Look at them guys. They're sitting over there. They're not doing nothing." He says, "They're smoking." Oh, he says, "They're taking a cigarette break." Oh, next day I bought a cigarette. Hang on. So I start smoking without inhaling. I don't want to sound like President Clinton, he said inhale. But that was, something. But even though I didn't inhale, I still couldn't get out of that habit for a while. Especially when you're a policeman, you're working a long investigation at night, you're just that. So, it's something.
It's a tough, and they do have programs at Einstein to help people stop smoking. So people are aware how tough it is.
Yeah. Well, they remember they come out with the filter cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
They said it would stop cancer, right? So this guy, he said, "Well, all right." Then they come out with a double filter. So this guy says, "Well, wait a minute. If there's less chance of getting cancer with a double, I'm going to put 5 filters in there." He went, and he got a hernia. Well, that's a Social Security joke. You'll get it when you're 65. Okay. Now, all right. Now, walk. Tell me a little bit more. Now, your wife is going to walk too,
Absolutely.
and you have a dog,
Not anymore.
huh?
Not anymore.
No more. You did. I remember
Yeah.
you. Yeah. And all right. And then I want to make a special plea to all the police and firemen out there. Try to make it on there. Come out there and walk. Bob, just like years ago, not too many policemen walk the beat, but come out here and walk the walk. Okay?
Yep, we need as many people as we can to help support us, and it's going to be a great day. It's always a
right.
beautiful day out there.
And it's, you come in there, register $30. $30. Make it, you know, they give you, they pass out, they give you a shirt and everything, right? And it'll be a little bit of entertainment,
Yep.
right?
And basically, they have the website on here. They're going to be sending notices out, but you can sign up on the web. If you sign up ahead of time, it's less expensive. It's $10 more if you sign up at the door.
Okay.
And they have things for teams, so there's discounts for teams and things like that. So there's a lot of different stuff, but it's all on the website for people to look at. If they want to bring a whole group of people out, you know, it's a little less for them.
Good. Well, that bring a point out. Like different, there was the organizations like the Eagles, the Moose, the Elks. You got the Campagna. You got the LAM. You got all these different organizations, and they bring a little sign, and they all walk in a group.
Yep.
Right?
Yep, we do that. They have group pictures. You can bring your logo with you or whatever you're carrying and have a group picture there.
And now, Einstein Hospital. Tell me what up front, some of the latest things there at Einstein.
Well, I think you just talked about one of them is the cardiac program with Dr. Anderson's folks.
Oh yeah, great.
You know, we talked a little bit about some of the stuff with the radiation equipment. Some of the stuff, certainly we're involved in clinical research in cancer. I think the other thing too is a lot of people miss is how nice the layout is of the hospital. That makes people feel better. The idea when they put that together was to have a healing place, not a place where you come when you're sick, but a place where you come to get better. So you got a private room. You don't have a lot of noise in the room with you. The OB department's great. You know, not many hospitals are doing obstetrics anymore because it costs them money. So they're doing a lot of nice things with their obstetrics department. They have a wonderful department, very large area of the hospital. The whole second floor is devoted to just that.
Right.
And you know, there's a lot of wonderful programs throughout the hospital.
Yeah, I'm going to be interviewing the chief of police, and maybe he'll come to the walk.
Yep.
You know, his dad, you know, his family, Jimo, very prominent family in Norristown, you know. Maybe I would get him to come. The chief, how many other doctors are involved with this?
Well, I think from what I understand, we're probably going to have 5 of the doctors from our group, both here in Philadelphia, and their families are
Well, that's
coming
right. Einstein from Philly, too, right?
Yep. So we're part of the whole system. And I think a lot of people don't know the history of Einstein because it's celebrating its 150th year, and I don't want to get away from
This year?
this year. I don't want to get away too much from the walk in the park, but the hospital was originally started to take care of Jewish Civil War vets.
Civil War were in.
Civil War vets.
What
That's how
war?
it got started.
What war?
Civil War.
Oh, the Civil War. Oh, my own. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's how it got started. And part of the thing is to take care of everybody.
All my Jewish friends that had the delicatessen stores, you know, they're over there, right? Oh, my God. I had, my father was partners with the shoemaker. I had a Jewish fight manager, Al Wheel. You know, so it's really, that's what we want. Diversity. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for allowing us to come in. And we're talking about the walk. When is it? May the 21st, Saturday, out in front of Norristown High School. If it's $30 ahead of time, a little bit more when you get there. So don't worry about the mule going blind. Get in the wagon, hold the line. Okay, here we go. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and keep bobbing and weaving. Keep your left hand high, stick and move. Keep your trunks off the canvas. All right. Doctor, thank you very much.
Thanks, Hank.
All right. Grazie. All right. And may God bless each and every one. Okay? Grazie. My Hispanic friends. Adios, amigos. Italiano. All right. Doctor, it's been a pleasure.